Power on.
No one told you life was gonna be this way.
When it comes to one-year-old Mariah Cartavius, you are not.
Space, the final frontier. It's 5 years.
Shall we begin? Let's begin now.
Happy Monday, everybody, and welcome to Now Trending Live right here on NowTrendingRadio.com. It is Monday, March 12th. We are back here in the studios. We're short one person, but that's okay. We're going to have a fun time today.
We're short.
We are short people.
Short people.
You're not so short. Is that what we'd call you?
Short.
It's a little person. As I said, it is Monday, March 12th. Let's see. Today is March Madness.
Starts this week. Yep.
What exactly is March Madness?
That's when you go crazy for college basketball. Crazy.
See, now that there's no college football, now this is like the next greatest thing.
Oh yeah, since sliced bread.
College basketball.
The money is insane.
It's nuts. It really is.
So I'm just thinking of March Madness because I woke up this morning. It seems like everybody's just mad.
They don't need March for that.
That's true. Yeah.
You know, it's funny. And Drew was like, "What should we call today's show?" And I'm just like, in seconds, I'm like, "March Madness."
It did.
Really, it is.
Yeah. It was there.
It seemed to foot the bill. So I am Joy Canizero, your host of Now Trending Live. And joining me today is my lovely co-host and producer. Like I said, we're missing Siobhan. Siobhan, we miss you.
Hi, Siobhan.
Miss
I love
you.
you're out there listening. We all miss you here at the show. And then we've got the lovely Chris Metal. Chris Metal, say hello. And where can we find you?
Hello, everybody.
When you're not here.
ChrisMetalRadio.com. Social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Chris Metal Radio. Chris Metal Radio Show every Saturday night, 7 p.m. SkyhawkRadio.com on the Talk channel.
Yeah. Sounds like you get around.
Hardly.
Like a doorknob.
Oof.
Everybody gets a turn.
Shots fired. Starting early, Joy, even though we're starting late.
Right, Drew.
What?
How are you doing, Drew?
Doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Good, thank you. Drew's producing, co-hosting. You're gonna be our Siobhan for today. Are we all gonna
wow.
Are we all gonna be a third of Siobhan?
We'll be all be a third. That's fair.
So we'll all be a third to create Siobhan, to create another person.
I'm not doing the movie segment though.
Oh.
What?
I said I'm not doing the movie segment.
I thought you gave
I gotta
it
save that for Metal's minute, dude.
Oh yeah, I know. I just want to.
God, you gotta work on those cues.
You're talking
dude.
right now. You're talking right now. I figured just.
I am, yeah, but I'm not doing that segment till later.
Oh, later.
Okay, come on, man.
Fine.
Listen
Hey.
to this guy. That can only be reserved for your segment?
Well, they should have used it when you introduced me, but he forgot to set it up. We didn't talk about it either, so I don't blame him.
I don't know what you want Enzo. I mean, like in the background, his bada boom. His is
Realest
played
guy
out.
in the room.
Do you miss him?
Yes.
Really?
I miss the mic. I really do.
Really? I don't.
The mic, the special mic that he had, and his ability to make you laugh, even as a heel. You know?
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. You queued that one up, though.
Yeah.
So, no, but I do because I miss. Well, this is the thing. I miss Enzo and Cass.
Right.
Let be that as it may.
And that's
I
just
miss
it.
Enzo's presence on Raw.
Okay.
I really do.
Right.
But I can't fault the man. I don't judge him. What he did or what he's accused of doing is unfortunate, and it's bad that runs rampant in that industry. It's a big loss as far as the entertainment value goes.
It is, but your career too. Imagine so much that he's
because
put into the career. Like I watch these guys
Can't get
start
away
from
from
the
that.
bottom. That's what you know what I mean. That I think that's what even to watch the passion that you have to be a career, to be a professional wrestler.
Mhm.
You have to have a lot of passion.
He's got a lot of charisma too.
You do a lot of charisma, and you give your life to it. And it's just the time and effort that he's put into his career. To have something like that taken away, you know, people need to, whether he did, like I said, or not, if he did, you know, people just need to think about their choices, or even just how you do represent yourself. Or, you know, honestly, it does come into play, like the places that you go, the way you behave. People will make up things, but don't put yourself in that type of position where people can make those things up.
Yes, I totally agree with you on that. What'd he do? What he did.
He is accused of sexual assault.
Yeah, and he's known. He has a history. You know, he is a professional wrestler. He has a history like of every. You know, they're in a different city each and every day. He has a history of going into strip clubs, being rude to strippers. It's something that's been reported over the past couple of years.
And it's been said that he's not the easiest person to get along with in the locker room.
Right.
So it's very difficult with somebody like him. I do remember like the last time he was on the mic in the cruiserweight division was the week after he came back from being sick.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the hospital. He was like, I was in the hospital with the flu. And then he said the funniest thing. I was there. I was being influenza.
Yeah, oh God.
And I lost it. Laughed my ass off. That was the last funny thing that he said.
He did have a way with words, but I like him partnered with Cass. Like when I like to see him, I like him as Enzo and Cass. I just didn't have a thing for him when he went solo.
He had to.
Yeah, I know, because Cass being injured.
No, but not just because of that. Just because they were never going to win anything.
Right.
And they were pushing him. They weren't pushing him enough. They got over in NXT, but as far as the universe was going, they were pushing all these other tags.
Solo, he's meant for NXT though.
New Day. Solo, he's good for cruiserweight.
Yeah.
But that he can't wrestle. He just doesn't have it.
Yeah.
He's got no wrestling charisma whatsoever. If he wasn't so damned good on the mic, they would have never brought him up.
Yeah, I agree.
Never. You know, and I feel bad, and I hope that he gets the help that he needs.
Yeah.
To be a nicer person. It's that damn hip hop that he listens to.
Chris, you're so nice today. What's going on?
Point out facts. So
I know,
Siobhan's
but
not here. That's the niceness.
You're so nice, but
that's my third of Siobhan.
Here's the thing: is you're expressing yourself nicely.
That's
how I want to say.
That's my third of Siobhan.
Thank you. You are. You're doing a great job. You know what?
Why, thank you.
You'll be your whole her.
No, just the third.
You're doing great.
I don't want the rest.
What's going on here?
Don't want the rest. Don't want the rest. Thank you.
So moving on, it's been nearly a month since Nicholas Cruz stormed into Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School with an AR-15 style rifle and killed 17 students and faculty members. In the weeks since the shooting in Parkland, Florida, survivors and their allies have turned their grief into activism and advocacy. Part of that effort is Wednesday's National School Walkout. So we're going to take a little bit of time on this subject just to break it down and because it goes piece by piece. So first of all, what is it? We've been hearing about it for weeks. Mm-hmm. Schools haven't sent home any information. Have you received any information?
As far as the walkout?
Yeah. Well, you don't have high school kids, but does it affect middle school kids also?
It should affect any kids.
I think the first one did. I don't know if this one does. I don't think this one does.
Well, the last one wasn't even, which was like a week ago, wasn't organized again. And
it was just people just went out.
It was just people going out. So again, technically what it is a nationwide protest that's supposed to be both a memorial and a protest action. Students and teachers across the United States will walk out of their schools and universities to honor the lives of the 17 people killed in Stoneman Douglas and press lawmakers to pass stricter gun control laws, according to Empower, which is the group who is organizing this walkout. So among their demands, yes, their demands.
This is ridiculous.
Among their demands, participants want Congress to ban assault weapons, require universal background checks before gun sales, and pass gun violence restraining order law that would allow courts to disarm people who display warning signs of violent behavior. Okay, so now we know what it is.
Now it's profiling again. Once again, just redefined.
Right. As far as, go ahead, now this is, I mean, what the things that they're asking for. I hate that this does say demand.
This should be reworded to sound less.
Yeah, I wouldn't say the word.
Less aggressive, because this is not the gun's fault. This is not the NRA's fault. This isn't President Trump's fault. This isn't the gun law's fault or the Second Amendment fault. This is the generation of children that are out there right now behaving like children. Acting like little brats who think they can just storm the streets, put the signs up and the shirts and these wristbands and scream, "We got to change the laws. We got to change the laws." And it's like, it's not about the law. It's about miscues by the FBI and the police. And from what I understand, the Broward sheriffs, and I'm sorry, Broward sheriffs, you guys were directing traffic and cordoning off the roads to get to the school rather than storming the school and going after the shooter. And we heard it on all the tapes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's on you guys that you weren't in the school fast enough, where you just decided to shut the roads down. I mean, give me a break.
Right.
Call the Coral Springs police to do that, or whomever.
That's we all know Coral Springs, like
Parkland,
we said, is the one that jumped in there first.
I mean, come on. So this is not. You don't have to protest to get your point across. We understand. We know that there's a problem, but it's not the gun laws.
Right. And well, that's what I was going to ask. I mean, maybe we do have, they are asking also to require universal background checks before gun sales. I agree with that
completely.
That's, something, if that's an issue that we have, that's a legitimate request.
Which this kid passed.
Another one, pass a gun violence restraining order law that would allow courts to disarm people who display warning signs of violent behavior.
That's profiling. They can't do that.
But what if they're not,
There's no
okay,
lawsuit
what if there's medical backup?
So,
Which would have turned up in a background check.
so veterans that come back from Iraq and Afghanistan have to have their guns taken because they have PTSD.
Some
They're the
should.
ones who went over there and
There's
kept
some of them
Before you
should.
complete that, remember,
Some
three
of them
people
should.
just died a couple of days ago because the guy that came back had PTSD.
That,
Right.
yeah.
and Chris, the sniper,
Which one?
the sniper from
The movie, The Sniper, and he
Chris
was
Kyle.
going crazy. He
the
was
guy who was at the shooting range with him.
okay.
You know, he killed him. So yeah, I know, I understand that, but not everybody has that going on when they come back. You know what I mean? It's going to be something that they could sue whomever is putting the law up against them, because I think it's an unconstitutional law. I really do.
But if we know somebody who has a deep mental condition and it's well documented, and a gun should not be in this person's hands, what do we do?
Again, I agree with what you're saying, but let's say Nicholas Cruz killed these 17 people with rocks. Are you going to outlaw rocks? Is there a new rock law now?
Right. Well, we're not talking
It's
about
not the
that. We're
guns
just saying, right.
that
We're
kill
just
these
saying,
people.
though, to have some type of law that if someone does appear mentally ill and have all kinds of things where on paper it really shows that this person should not be with a gun, should there be some type of legality, like some type of restraining order where they could go and possess this person's,
But who makes that decision?
repossess this
Congress?
person's? Right. Yeah, I agree in that
They
sense.
have to interview. They have to look at the person. They don't just have to look at a case file and a paper that's on their desk. They have to know the person that they're dealing with here. And again, the FBI missed the ball on this with 2 different times that they could have gone after this kid with the tips that they received. So,
But they couldn't have done anything with him unless they were able to get some type of background check in his mental capacity. But think about it. He could have sat there at the table with
They were-
all the guns he had, which were legally purchased, and they
Right.
wouldn't have been able to do a damn thing about it.
my point is, Drew, and you're right. They were spending time on the Russia probe and all these other things, and they missed these 2 tips that they received on this kid.
huge tips.
Well,
The
I
last
don't
one that
think
came
the
in was
Russian program had anything to do with it. It's a
And-
separate area, but
Again, with Broward, with directing the traffic around the school instead of storming the school.
everybody failed. I
So,
mean, like the FBI.
This was a calculated massive failure on a big scale.
Right,
And I
and-
feel bad.
Right. And we're told in this day and age, we live in a different time now. And we are told this day and age to be aware of your surroundings, to report
Be vigilant.
things. Yeah, be vigilant, to go ahead and report things, that seem abnormal to you, like right away. And in this case, we just seen it all, everything, that the public, it seemed that they were supposed to do, they did. And it was the law in that case, that did fail us with the tips that they received. I mean, and it was just weeks before this incident where this lady called and said, look, he's going to do something.
there were 2 calls. I think one was in October and one was in January.
Right. There was,
And then the supervisors realized this is the same guy they got the earlier tip on, but they still didn't do anything about it. Nor did they tell the local cops that this guy.
or they,
called
yeah,
them.
I mean, just to take a look but then again, like we said, okay, at that point, then what would the police be able to do? Just because they got these
They
tips.
wouldn't have been able to do anything.
Right.
It would have been a waste of time. Hence why they probably didn't do it.
And that's why we could sit here and say that they failed us. But however, at the same
Then
time,
that's why the law should be
what are they
changed.
legally allowed to do?
That's why the law should be changed so they can do something about it. I mean, think about it.
Because we are arguing. I don't want to say we're arguing. We are, just
Discussion.
having a conversation that, that the FBI failed us.
Mhm.
Right. But then again, maybe they did. What are they able to do without laws? What are they going to do? Go knock on his door and say, we got this tip. And at what point, what else are they allowed to do? They can't confiscate his gun.
No, they can't. But they might have paid a little more attention to his activity. And if they see him walking out of his house with a gigantic duffel bag,
Wait,
maybe
wait.
they might want to
But
follow
they
him to see
can't-
what's going on.
But he's
But they
one
can't do that.
kid,
They don't have
like-
resources for that.
No, but you know what? If you receive the tips on this guy and then you see him carrying a giant duffel bag from his house somewhere else, you might want to follow him, and you have the right to pull him over and check.
But how
him.
much surveillance? What do you,
There's
you
no-
get like
no, no,
one
no,
or
no.
2 tips?
You
Again,
have, there's
you
no
can
right to
just-
follow him.
There is no right.
There's no law.
If they want to follow him, they will. Look at the people on your street a month ago.
Right.
If they want to look at somebody,
Right.
they will.
But even
And
if he's up to
anybody paid
suspicious,
attention to the 2 tips that they received and looked into it a little further, they might have said, "Hey, we might want to keep an eye on this."
But then now you're taking resources to follow a guy that you don't know
They're
when's
taking
gonna do it.
resources to find a Russian probe that didn't happen. The Russian thing.
Dude, it
They're
happened.
wasting resources on that.
Dude, it happened. You
Yeah, it
gotta let
happened.
go.
Yeah, so yeah, it happened, Drew. It happened.
You
Have
gotta
you
let,
seen
you
that?
gotta
we're
let
gonna be
go.
professional. We're gonna have a professional
They're gonna go.
conversation.
Ridiculous. You
They're
got to
not.
be kidding me. This was they missed the ball on this, and you know it.
But
I'm
what,
not
okay,
saying that.
I
what
don't
would,
care about resources.
no, but
That's
Chris,
what I'm paying taxes
but Chris,
for.
well, oh, right, but okay,
But they have no law
but you
to
have
do
to.
that.
There's laws to do
Then you
that
can turn around and
because you
say that
have
he's
everybody
harassing me.
saying that he's harassing me.
Nah, he's
There's-
harassing me. Why are you wasting? Why are you bothering me? I'm
Right.
gonna sue the FBI.
Look what he did because they
But
weren't
it's your-
watching.
but
no,
you're
because
ha-
there's
but
no
you're quarterback
laws. There's
coaching.
no laws that
There's nothing
actually
they can
say
do.
they can do anything about it.
There's
They
nothing they
can
can do.
watch him if they want to.
So you get a tip 2 months ago, and we're gonna take a person from the FBI
Nothing wrong
and
with
have
taking
him.
a look at the situation.
Right, but you'd have to sit there every day and watch this kid. It took like 2 months from one tip. I mean,
You watched the video where he said he's going to be a school shooter.
oh yeah,
If they saw that video,
right,
they might have paid a little closer attention to it. If he ever left his house with a giant duffel bag in his hand.
right. But who's gonna be there 24/7? Somebody would have to be there 24/7
Again,
watching
once
guard.
again, both of you, if the
Relax.
government of the United States wants to watch somebody, they're gonna watch him, and they're gonna sit there and watch,
Right.
as long as they want. We've seen this throughout the history of the FBI. That if they want to watch somebody,
Uh-huh.
they will. They
Okay.
will dump all necessary resources into watching somebody if they want to, Drew. And they will put the laws aside if they want to, because they can dismiss due process when they want to investigate something. Because if this kid was Arab or Middle Eastern, they'd be all over it, watching it.
But
They
what?
would be
Okay,
all over
so
it.
what? They'd have to have a probable cause to take action.
If the Department of Homeland Security was watching this kid, maybe things would have been a little different.
I mean, if the kid's walking out of his house with a duffel bag, what crime is he committing?
Depends on what's in the bag. I mean, if he's going to the
I
gym.
get, but
if he's
okay,
going
are they
to
going to have
gym,
X-ray
is he-
goggles?
Is he going to hockey practice?
Mhm.
I would definitely have been watching this, even if they didn't see it and they watched it. They put the time into it. They might have caught something. Is what I'm saying.
Right,
but
but
they
they
were
have to have
spending
time,
time, but
actual
they were
evidence,
spe-
probable cause.
Broward
You have to
was at
have.
the
It's
house.
the law. It's
I
our
was in the
laws.
house 30 odd
Guys, no,
times.
forget it. Let's just keep going. I'm not going to keep explaining it.
We don't
Forget
have
it.
to explain it, Chris. We can have an
No, it's
adult
just-
conversation.
I'm not-
just
like,
did.
I'm not
We
saying-
just did.
I'm
I'm
not
saying
saying-
if they wanted to watch the guy, then friggin' they would have watched him. They would have gone and checked
they
the
need
bag
reason,
if they want to.
right? But you can't. That's like having
Look
someone
at the
sit here and
TSA. They stop random people. It's like, oh, I want to book this guy aside and check his bags or give him a more extensive search.
It's a numbers
They can
game.
use any sort of discretion that they want because they're given that right when they're given the badge.
Remember, the TSA isn't it's actually a separate company.
Dude, if they want to check somebody, they will.
But it's not
And that
legal.
is
But
my
it's not
point.
But they
legal.
can't
But
check
it's not legal.
200 and
They
Seriously.
will make it legal.
Yeah, but they can't check 264 million people.
they
what you're
can check
asking.
whoever. True, they can check whoever they want. They can check you and me.
They need to have probable cause.
They
though.
could check
Legally,
one of us
they need
probably
to have.
after this-
Otherwise,
Especially if
they
he's an
can't
American
do
citizen.
anything.
Probably after this show, they'll probably check me because they can.
They,
In this day and
For
age,
what?
But that's exposing.
Oh my God!
No, we have laws.
You're
It's
surrounded
not.
by these people. I can't believe it. They can check anything they want if they feel there is a credible threat.
But they can't
it.
do with anything
But they
with it
did,
unless
and
they
there's
have
nothing-
evidence.
but
Unless they have
Broward did.
evidence, they can't do anything with
Broward
it.
didn't. There's nothing they can do. He had the guns legally, bro.
Let's go on. Move on. What's next on the item?
I say when we move on. Right, I know, but you know what? We're all adults here. We
Yeah,
can
I
all
know. I
agree
keep
to
saying it. Yeah,
disagree.
I know.
So it's like, okay, so the walkout will take place on Wednesday, March 4th at 10 a.m. local time. It'll last for 17 minutes to honor the lives of those killed at Stoneman Douglas. Participants, the walkout is open to American students, teachers, and staff, but the idea originated with Empower, the youth branch of the Women's March, and it's the main national voice encouraging people to participate. The organization's website says more than 2,500 walkouts are planned. Empower is facilitating the walkout by providing local student organizers with toolkits to help them get started. The kits include a step-by-step guide to organizing a walkout, sample letters to administrators to request permission to participate, and an explanation of student rights. The organizers have asked anyone not affiliated with a school to stay away from the walkout, citing safety concerns. Otherwise, folks who want to express solidarity with the students should wear orange or walk out of their workplaces for 17 minutes, Empower says. So we know Empower's behind it.
I don't think I have an orange shirt.
But they're providing our students with toolkits
Mhm.
You know, is this something too young? You know, these kids are they are coming of, you know, they're coming of an age where, you know, when they're 18, they'll be allowed to vote. We don't introduce politics. I think we could do a better job at introducing politics in school. I kind of think that our schools now stay away from important subjects
Mhm.
on purpose to kind of,
Probably.
I don't want to say dumb down, but there's a lot of things that we really should have learned in school, basic,
Sure.
that we didn't. Even
Sure.
with just how money works. I don't know.
Sure.
I took macroeconomics in college, and my first thought was, you know, why didn't we learn this in high school? I mean, this it tells you how money works. This is something that, you know, that we all
How
should
to,
know.
how to write a checkbook, how to balance a budget. Yeah.
Yeah. We're parents here. How do you feel about these groups targeting our schools, like our students, our schools,
Well, when you say targeting, what do you mean?
as far as targeting them with teaching them now? We're in a time of life where we're protesting about everything.
Okay. I think if they're asking for help, that's one thing, and I don't have a problem with it.
Right.
Because it does get them into the process and maybe a little younger than others, but the old guard needs to go. And you see that video of the Florida lawmaker who basically put them down because they were kids that we shouldn't follow what they're saying.
Right.
That's hogwash. You're totally disregarding a big potential voting block, and those voting blocks affect other people who vote.
Well, that's just it. Because a lot of these
And-
kids, we're not talking about younger kids. We're
Mhm.
not talking. We're
Right.
talking about kids who are going to be 18.
And some are,
Next election,
and some are.
you're going to have a large
Right.
population of
So-
these students right
Mhm.
now that, across the country. This is across the
And
entire
their
country.
parents and their friends,
Right.
and their friends' parents, and they're going to be able to vote and buy AR-15 and do everything else you want to do, except buy a beer. So they're going to be part of that voting block. And if you're discouraging them or calling them names, and if you're discrediting them now,
Right.
you're going to pay for
That's
it
our
later.
future. These are the ones that are going to be taking
Sure thing.
over. It's the simple, plain truth. These are the ones.
Yep.
Within some of them are 17, some of them are 18 now.
So you have a choice. You can either piss on them and push them aside,
Right.
or you can encourage them to do things a certain way.
We have an election. The next election is what? In the next 3
November,
years?
November
No, I'm saying presidential election. We've still
2020.
got another 3 years to go.
2020.
Okay. So two years to go.
2 years.
So
yeah.
you're talking the kids who are sophomores right now, juniors,
Mhm.
seniors.
Mhm.
We're not just talking the senior class. We're talking
We're talking, yeah,
who will be 18 at
Yep.
the time. So I mean, this hits a large
sure.
population of voters.
Sure. And the Democrats are smart for taking them under their wing because now they're showing them what to do. They're not discrediting them. They're not
Right.
calling them
And
names.
that's
They're not belittling them. So if if you're nice to me, then I'll be nice to you on the road. Same thing the NRA says. You're nice to me, I'll be nice to you now. So what's the difference? What's the difference between that and any other lobbyist group? There's no difference. So they're younger and will be around a lot longer.
right. Chris.
This generation is effed. I'm telling you now. Not just with music and politics, but they want everything for free, and they think they can go out and protest or run around with signs
But
to
why
get what
can't
they
they?
want.
But why can't they? They did it in the 1960s and 1950s. Why can't they? They did it in the 1900s
Dude.
for the women's suffrage. Why can't they?
I was raised to respect my elders.
Whether they're right or wrong?
And
Whether they're right or wrong?
I was shown what's right and wrong. I was hit in the backside when I did wrong, when I misbehaved. I was grounded. I had things taken away from me. I was reprimanded when I did bad things.
So is
And
that.
now you can't discipline your child any way that we would discipline when we were kids and way our parents were disciplined when they were kids.
Yeah.
You can't. You just can't do
no,
excess.
Yeah, I
and no,
can.
this
You
lack
can.
of respect and this lack of tolerance by these little shits
It's not just-
is just unacceptable.
It's not all of them, though. You're
It's-
classifying a
But
whole
there's a
population. You're
gigantic-
classing up.
anybody with any kids
Respect
that are
isn't
walking
given,
around
respect is
with the
earned.
phones out everywhere they go are so just oblivious to what's going on in the world.
And that's why you need to teach them now.
But
Why not
adults
teach them
doing
now?
that too.
You can't reprimand them and straighten them out at a young enough age where they can determine what's right and what's wrong. Because right now they're just doing whatever they want, walking through the streets, eating soap. Who eats Tide Pods?
But dude,
Right,
Who-
but you're
who inhales
classifying.
cinnamon?
Right, I know, but you're classifying
You
everybody into
stupid
one. You
little
got.
kids.
okay, but
It's
but
not.
look at it
No,
this way, look
we're
at it this
talking
way.
16 to 18
These guys
years old.
went to school, and someone came in and shot at their friends. What makes it that they can't speak up? Why is it?
they can't speak
But
up?
you're
Jerome?
saying you're saying
First
that
of all,
they
they're
can't. They
but they're
can't
becoming
protest.
adults also. But here's the thing: is that right now they're not kids. They're between 15 and 18 years of age, and they're going through
Oh,
a
yeah.
phase where they're becoming adults. And we need to teach them how to become adults the correct way.
Are we
so
teaching them how to
can-
become adults?
Some of them
Some
we
of them
are
are.
by just making
You
judgments
guys
that
are
they're all.
parents. What are you doing? I walked in and I said hello to him, and he said something rude to me.
Yeah,
What are you guys teaching him?
because that's the relationship you have with him. That's the thing.
Is it a joke or does he mean it? Because I think he's joking, but does he mean it?
You know, he's joking, but that's
Does
the
he do that to
relationship you have.
everybody or just
No.
me?
Just you.
Oh,
Yeah, he's just
so
you.
He
me.
used to do that to
He
Mike
likes,
too.
yeah, he's got a special, yeah.
He used to do that to Mike too, but Mike would also play with him just like you are. So it's the relationship that you two have. That's
Just
why you
wondering
are.
if
No,
that's
no.
what they're doing at school.
Usually he's
It's
quiet.
okay to say that to people.
No,
So I was taught that it wasn't. And
No.
once I was taught by my father and mother that it wasn't, I never did it again. But he seems to
True.
do it even when you tell him not to.
true.
So is it the
Oh,
kids
but
these
this isn't
days
about
that have
just
to be
your-
rebellious and
No,
do
it's just-
exactly the opposite what the parents tell them?
It's the relationship you have with them.
Okay. But like again, with the kids eating the soap and doing
Well,
these
that's stupidity.
stupid internet things for what? Did we do them?
But it's
No,
not all
because we had
kids.
Wait,
books.
wait.
We had Encyclopedia
Wait.
Britannica to do our book reports and do our things.
Let
for
me tell you
school.
something.
Now the kids just Google everything and write the stuff down. I wouldn't want to be a teacher in this time and this day and age. And I don't think I'd want to be a parent with the way these things are going
How
on.
can we help our
The
kids
side
if
of
we have
things.
no faith in our kids, though?
And I remember being 15 and
Look at the
16.
kids.
I remember being
Look
15 and
at 'em.
16, and I did stupid things too. It just wasn't recorded.
Okay, but do we
You
start
ain't
going?
soap, Drew. You ain't soap.
No,
Tide
I was-
Pods?
No, because they didn't have Tide Pods.
You knew better.
Yeah,
You weren't stupid.
but there's still things I did that weren't smart, and the same as you,
But
and the same as
you
Joe.
read books when you were a kid.
Oh, I had no choice. Once I was on punishment, that was it.
You
once
went
you're
to
in
the
the room, I was like-
library as a kid.
But that's the thing. There's nothing else to do.
Kids have
back
the
then.
phones and the tablets now to find everything they
Well,
need.
that's
now
part
they
of
can
your-
find every
that's part of your
excuse
capitalist
not
society.
to lift a finger these days.
But that's part
Right,
of your
but
capitalist
that's
society.
not okay. First of all, though, we're talking about a large population of students, and you can't just classify all these kids as stupid.
I'm not.
Have you heard some of them speak? Some of them speak
They're
10
very-
times better than we do
And
in
they're
this
in
room
school
here,
learning.
and have 100 times better professionalism than we have here. So to sit here and make judgments,
I don't think they're being rude. I think they're expressing what they're
Have any of
trained
the
to
kids-
do.
have any of the kids gone up that you've seen on a podium and been like, yo, like, I don't know nothing. Everybody's been well versed, well spoken.
Very clear.
I am sure that there is a distinct amount of children today that are very good the way you people are saying. I'm sure there are. However,
Us people.
the two of you being parents and being the other side of the argument that I'm
Mhm.
making. So that's fine. I'm sure there's many, many great students out there and great kids overall.
Mhm.
I'm worried about the ones that are not up at that level.
Right, but
Who's
those aren't
reaching out to them.
right, but those aren't the ones at the
Who are
podium trying to change
the video
laws.
game population, the ones who walk around chasing the Pokemon and all the other things. It's like, seriously?
Right, but those aren't the
You know what
ones
I
out
mean?
here that are rallying. That's what you gotta remember too.
They're
A
playing
lot of them, I
Pokemon.
mean, there's some of them out there that are, but the majority of them aren't the ones that are out there rallying.
The ones that are leading the cause will be your leaders in the future. Plain and simple. And how they progress will determine how it works. I don't think every kid is horrible or every kid is bad.
I don't think so either.
But I still think at the time
Let's get that out there.
they're taking their rights to do what they can do as per the law. Same thing it did in the 60s movement, same thing it did in the 1990s or 1900s rather. This is the 1990s.
Yeah, well, they're the ones that are gonna have to
So,
live next in
every-
this.
Every generation has their movement, and this is their turn.
Yep.
As long as they don't break the law, I got no.
I
beef
agree.
with that.
Now, okay, now what's going on now? How schools are reacting to this? You have many schools. Go ahead, Chris.
1 minute.
Hmm?
1 minute.
Oh, okay.
Did we forget what we learned in TV and radio?
No, I didn't. But are you producing? No.
Did he do it?
Oh no,
I didn't see it
was-
because
trying to help.
because here's
Well, I don't wanna
because
interrupt.
I have the conversation going. Like I said, in
Yeah,
time's a little
she'll-
bit different
she'll
today.
tell me.
So that's how it was. Yeah.
Just helping out.
Thanks.
So how schools are reacting? So many schools are allowing students to walk out of class for the 17 minutes, and are providing additional security to ensure the actions are organized and safe. However, you have other schools who are actually forbidden the participation and who are actually going to give out punishments.
Mhm.
So again, when it comes to civil rights, should schools be allowed to take this opportunity, away from these students?
I would.
They're not harsh punishments. It's only going to be stuff. It's going to be classified as an unexcused absence. So they may experience, a loss in a grade for that day or
I have no,
internal suspension.
I have no beef with the school punishing or not allowing them to do it because at the end of the day, it's their school. It's what they're sending for. However, if I were that school, I would take advantage of the situation to maybe make something a little more positive out of it. Maybe they don't leave. Maybe they have some type of discussion in class or discussion.
I would assemble
in school.
all the students into the auditorium, and the principal or whomever will address the issue and say, we encourage you not to walk out, but you have the right to speak up. But you can't leave the school grounds. You can't walk out the doors during class, during school.
But I do it in class.
It's not going to change anything. It's sadly not going to bring the 17 people back in 17 minutes. So do it proactively. Go out in the quad or in the track. Stay on the property. Stay within the fences. Don't go out there and potentially get hit by a car or something else tragic happens. It's just not going to change anything. Stay in the auditorium. Go in the gym. Do a group project for God's sake, but stay in the school and learn. Just go back to your classes and pay attention. Put your phones in your pocket or in your backpacks and effing learn.
Right. And the schools have to, again, come up with something productive for these young adults to do. I mean, that seemed to be the case like at my daughter's school a couple of weeks ago when they had that one-day protest. Some schools were allowed. Some schools actually got security from our local police departments and were allowed to march the streets, to where some schools were locking the kids in. And what happened at my daughter's school is they actually busted down the gate of the school and there was young adults running everywhere. That's why I say by taking charge of it and making something more. That's it. It just should be, it should be more organized.
You can control it better.
What if somebody was hurt or killed by this protest of change and things?
Right. Well, and that's just it.
No,
right.
I'm going to throw the what ifs out there because everybody else is doing it everywhere else in the world. What if your kid or one of your kids was hurt in this protest, was hit by a car because they wanted to lash out against Trump or against the gun laws, and somebody was hurt trying to change things? Instead, if she stayed in school or he or she stayed in their seat in their classroom because the principal had enough cajones to say, no, kids, you're not leaving the school. Stay in your classroom and learn, and it wouldn't have happened. Then what? Then what? Do you blame Nicholas Cruz? Do you blame him?
Right. No,
What do you blame?
My daughter stayed at school. She was scared.
Right.
She was scared of her father.
Your daughter did the right thing.
She did,
because
absolutely.
Other kids who aren't as well disciplined ran through the gates.
Right. My daughter thinks, and she thought about the consequences. And first of all, she also thought, okay, why am I doing this? Not as far as, okay, yeah, we can go and leave. Everybody busted down the gates and we're going everywhere, but you're just going home. So it really wasn't, she knew it wasn't any type of protest. And again, she just told her best friend, she's like, oh no, if the news comes and my dad sees me on TV.
Sounds like me.
And she stayed right at school. And, like I said, my
Sounds
kids
like
like that. Unless there's good cause. My daughter's a very smart girl. For 16, she's very smart. So we'll go ahead and take a break. Anybody want to have anything to add before we go with that? I just want to discuss the march because it's just a lot of confusion going on. People are with it. People aren't. It's something that's going to take place all over the entire country.
It's not going to get anywhere. It's not going to get anybody anywhere.
All right. Well, they plan to move it on to
Take the
Washington.
social media to get your message out there. Take the
to-
social media like
has
you do every time you cook something or every time you paint your face or something. Right? Put everything on social media. Put this activist march on social media. March on social media for this.
But people just
That's
turn
it.
it off.
That's it. No, the kids can do that. They choose not to. This is a way of getting out of the classroom because they don't want to learn.
Well, it's there.
It's
It's there.
Wise up, kids.
We're going to go ahead and
Doesn't
take a
get
break
easier.
with that. So you're listening to Now Trending Live right here on Now Trending Radio. Make sure you stay tuned. We'll be right back. And we're back to Now Trending Live right here on NowTrendingRadio.com. Everybody cool?
Yeah, I was
Happy
born cool.
Monday.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
it's been a funky Monday. I think, first of all, the time change. We didn't discuss daylight savings
That
time,
was
man.
a horrible thing they did. The horrible thing.
Was it not?
Yes, it was the horrible because I was too tired.
No, it sucked, and I'm going to tell you why.
Here we go.
Tell us why, Chris Metal.
I'll tell you why it sucked. Because the Chris Metal Radio show this past Saturday
Right,
at 7:00 p.m.
right.
ended at 9, as always.
Uh-huh.
So when the show's over, I go to sleep because I got to work the next day. I'm a superhero, so I got to be up
Right.
at 2:30 in the morning
Oh,
to
you
defend
lost
the good people.
that. Yeah,
And when the show ended at 9, it was really 10,
yeah.
and I still have things to do
No, it's still
after
9.
the show that required me to, talk on the phone, call people, things like that. My technician, my producer, people like that, other people tuning into the show. So it's like when I go to bed, when I wake up, I'm gonna lose an hour at some point.
Yeah.
After 2. So my alarm's set for 2:45, but it goes from 1:59 to 3 a.m.
Oh,
So I woke up at 1:45 and I'm like, oh, nice. I got another hour. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I don't.
Yeah,
This
I've
is gonna
only
go
got
right to
15
3.
minutes.
I don't
and
even have 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So I got up and got ready for work, and when I looked at my watch when I finished, it was after 3. So I was like, "Oh, okay, here we go." So it's official.
Yeah.
So it's no good, no fun. Everything had to end an hour earlier that night. So my whole routine was messed up, thrown off. Thanks a lot. Daylight savings time. Thank you very much. Come on now.
Let's go, Drew. How was yours?
Terrible.
Well, it was.
See, he's speechless.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
Exactly.
I know.
How
I
bad
woke,
it was. He
like
can't
no,
think
I
of the
woke
words.
up. Like I woke up. It was so late. Like the day was over. He couldn't do anything.
Well, I'm petrified of oversleeping because my job I can't oversleep.
Right.
But
Okay.
your
So-
phone changes the time automatically.
Yeah,
So if your alarm's set for anything after 3,
doesn't matter.
you're okay.
Doesn't
Yeah.
matter. My
You're
mind's still set to where I can't miss this. So
Right.
I will set my alarm earlier. Progressing up to the time.
Uh-huh.
And but for some reason I woke up like at 1 o'clock and I couldn't go back to sleep. So I stayed up. You just can't go. You can't go back to sleep. So by the time the day was starting to wind down, I'm
Right.
dragging because I've been up all night.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. Well, at least I mean the vote was passed to end daylight savings time.
I think it was in the House. It
However,
has to go to the Senate.
now it has to go to Senate. It still
And
has
then
a
it
few
goes to
more
the federal
signature.
government.
Right. Exactly. So
Which they never anything done. So by the time it turns around, it's next time.
we'll be gone, right?
Yeah.
No. So moving on, adult film actress Stormy Daniels is offering to return the $130,000 payment she received from President Donald Trump's attorney in exchange for dissolving a so-called hush agreement. Last month, Michael Cohen said he paid $130,000 of his own money to Daniels, whose real name is Stephanie Clifford, ahead of the 2016 election in exchange for her silence regarding an alleged sexual encounter with Trump. Both Cohen and the White House have denied any sexual encounter between the president and Clifford. Clifford's attorney, Michael Avenatti, sent Cohen a letter offering to wire $130,000 by Friday to an account designated by the president. In exchange, the settlement agreement between Clifford, Trump, and Cohen's company would be deemed null and void in their entirety. Stormy Daniels says the Trump scandal has actually been good for business. Believe it or not.
Double-edged sword, I think she said.
Yes, double-edged sword.
Pardon the
Exactly
pun.
her word. Yes, at the
Being a porn
exchange.
star.
The exchange would allow Clifford to speak publicly.
Whoa!
It would allow her to speak publicly about her. Look at the high five with you two,
Hey, come on.
right? So the exchange would allow Clifford to speak publicly about her allegations of an affair with Trump, and according to the letter, use and publish any text messages, photos, and/or videos relating to the president that she may have in her possession, all without fear of retribution or any type of legal damages. By sending the money to Trump, it would involve the president, who has never acknowledged agreement or the affair in this case. However, White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders said last week that arbitration was won in the president's favor regarding the case. The statement is an admission that the non-disclosure agreement exists and that it directly involves Trump. It was the first time the White House had admitted the president was involved in any way with Clifford. So she's right. I mean, really $130,000. That's all he gave her.
I know, right?
First of all,
You know, right?
that's chump change.
How much is she making?
Oh, she's making a lot
Per
more now.
movie, per royalties, residuals, pardon the pun. She's a
Here it
porn
comes.
star, probably an aging porn star.
No,
And
no,
this is what she's got to do to get some more money.
She's been around the block. She's
she's
been
been
on
on
the
the block.
porn
Phone's
scene
not
for a
real.
while.
But she's not wrinkly.
No, but she's
No,
not.
but I'm sure her vagina is. Okay,
not
she
19.
is like
and
all
naive.
that reconstruction. That's a lot of plastic surgery
So
on the
this
face.
is
Still looks
probably
good.
this
She's
is
still making
probably
money.
a healthy little bankroll for her, just a little like boost in the old wallet. You know what I know, the purse as it is.
She's probably making more money.
Did they do something? If I had to bet, I bet yeah. Trump probably like F it. I only live once.
But
And he did it.
But here's the problem. and
Clinton did it. Obama probably did it. And it's
Oh
part of
no!
life, dude.
Don't do the Trump thing.
Oh, did I
Don't
insult
do
you,
it.
man?
Don't do the Trump thing and just throwing everybody in
Did
the
you
big
guys
old
hear
box.
though? Obama's planning on producing shows for
He's
Amazon,
in the talk for
Netflix.
Netflix. Yeah.
Netflix. I
Yeah,
meant,
I'm
yeah.
canceling my Netflix.
But here's the
subscription.
thing that now people.
I don't want to get sidetracked, but go ahead.
Yeah,
Just
right.
because you guys
Look at the kitty.
started
Look at the
talking.
kitty. Okay,
You
so
screwed the whole nation.
here's the
I
weird
heard
part.
that.
Go on,
Yeah,
Drew.
so
We
we
know
had-
it. Let's go.
We had more money, more
It's a
dead
short
people were
show.
nice. Yeah. So here's the thing. this wasn't an incident. This was an ongoing affair for a year.
Right. Yeah.
So
And she can't cry foul if it going on for a year.
she's not
She had a
crying
problem
foul. That's
with
the problem. She's not crying foul.
I can't believe. I mean, he only offered $130,000.
The
That
problem-
is
you think
nothing.
she
The problem
get-
is
She should get $5,000 STFU. Go.
there's some things in
Oh,
this
no.
agreement that are make you go, like something about parentage, something about
What?
exactly. See, that's
Ooh.
that's exactly what you would say.
$130,000 to keep my mouth shut with all the money he
I
has.
think she kept her mouth open. That's why.
Ooh, I see what you did there.
I think it's like adding insult to injury, though, or what is it? Injury to insult, insult to injury. 130,000.
Insult to injury.
Injury to insult.
Mm.
130,000.
Hey, her birthday's coming up. Sorry, I can help it.
Now, I mean, should what do you think, Chris?
It's just another thing that's just drawn up. By
It's
the
already
media.
out there.
It's already
First of
blown
all,
up.
that's what I
She's
mean.
39.
It is
She's
what it
39.
is.
Isn't it null and void at this point, though? I mean,
It's like all
No.
of Cosby's
It's
accusers
been
coming out.
surfaced.
This is like
This deal went down the day before the elections, so that she wouldn't affect the elections.
right, and she got
Obviously,
paid.
that means it
She
happened.
got paid, right? Okay, but she got paid, and she signed a contract to keep her
Right.
mouth shut.
Still-
And he
So-
didn't sign a contract. He didn't sign it, which means the deal's not in place yet.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah,
But
he
he
didn't-
made the payment though.
He didn't make the payment. The lawyer made the payment.
Yeah, but she accepted it.
Yeah,
that's
but
part of the
he still
contract.
didn't. He still didn't sign it. That's why she's
So
already
is
getting the money
that
back.
what makes the contract that they have
have to
basically
sign
null
that.
and void? So at that point, why would she give the $130,000 back if
Because-
it's actually not a valid contract?
Because by giving it back, it definitely makes the contract null and void. She doesn't need it now because she's making money left and right. She was here at Solid Gold, and supposedly I heard that.
She was down here.
Yeah.
That's,
And
I've
so-
seen it all over Facebook.
So CNN was
I can't
apparently
wait.
interviewed
I
her.
can't wait till she writes a book.
CNN was
Can't
interviewing
wait.
her, and
Who's gonna listen to this exotic dance
Okay.
stories?
Right.
But
that's
it-
what I mean.
sorry.
but
But
it-
that's what I mean. You now, okay, she's talking about the money's coming in, but what? You have to go to every strip club, and we're not even talking like classy of the classy strip
Yeah,
clubs.
come on, solid gold.
Wait,
That's
wait,
the king of
wait.
diamonds. Come on.
There's no such thing as classy strip clubs. It's all the same.
I agree.
It's either whether you
There
get,
are no
it's either whether you get
classy ones,
food
dude.
or you don't get food. That's that's
What
the
kind of food you get?
exactly what's in the champagne room, what's not in the
Right,
champagne.
One
but-
place I got it from a truck stop.
I mean, she's talking about the money's coming in. No, you're going from bar to bar, like strip club to strip club to it's still having to show your vagina in
Not
order
necessarily.
to get all
Remember,
this
you
money.
can't
What
you
is
can't
she
be naked in
doing?
Broward, so not necessarily.
What are you talking about?
I think you can't.
Oh,
think-
yes, you can.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
you
yeah,
can, dude.
full nudity,
I thought-
sweetie. Oh no, full nudity. I'm talking. Ew.
so what are you saying from experiences?
There
Yeah.
are plenty in Broward that show everything. too.
Everything.
You just don't go anymore. That's your problem.
Oh well, there you go.
Some of them chicks want you to see their insides. It's that bad.
Yeah, Drew, they have insides. Did you know that?
Like,
Look
see
at your
on my
face.
face. I've seen some stuff I don't ever want to see ever again that I'll never be able to forget.
That's
And-
unpretty. It's unpretty.
Oh. And I know what a woman's
So-
body looks like from being a woman myself.
She's definitely has the ability to exaggerate the situation and the story and the whole thing. If it happened, it happened.
How do you exaggerate
Move
a
on.
story?
But where else do I mean? She's kind of the story's already out there. It's already a
And she
story.
didn't put it out there.
So what
Someone
is
else
it?
found out.
Is
about
it that we just want more details? Is that we're not
Oh, the guy
satisfied
lied.
enough?
The guy lied.
Is that we're not satisfied enough?
lied.
Come on,
The guy
that's
lied.
what I agree. But is that what it's about? That
The guy
either who's lying or is it about we know what happened? Come on.
Everybody loves a scandal. Come on, everyone loves a scandal.
Absolutely. And there's a scandal
Please,
every day.
they-
And I think it is. But
And
I
it's
think
really hypocritical of him to start digging up Bill Clinton's crap when every wife he's ever had he's cheated on. So, and this is another one.
I do feel bad for Melania. I feel
I
the
think it's fine.
position that
I think
she's
it's not part of her contract she applied for. So the job she applied for. So, and then the funny part is he's screaming about getting rid of aliens
And
and through the process of was it grandparent, whatever, grandparentry, whatever.
mhm.
And yet her parents got over her because of her visa. So it's this hypocrisy is incredible.
No, it is because you know what? We're normal people. We're normal people to where people who are very extremely wealthy kind of live in their own world and call their own shots.
Do
And
that
it
what you
doesn't
want.
work in a typical society like us. So when you say like the contract Melania had, lots of times these women with the wealth, like someone like Trump
Mhm.
had, will typically live like it's a relationship that is a contract. There's
Yes.
certain terms and conditions,
Sure.
and you're rewarded with all this money and this lavish life. To
Mhm.
I've been there, I've seen it, I've done it.
Yeah. Me too. I have.
Oh, okay.
It's true.
I have. No, I'm just.
So these women will put up with it. Like Melania will say, you know what I mean? So it's nothing. Maybe that's why he only offered her $130,000. It's really no big deal. Melania knows her place, obviously.
But back to what you said with the contract. The
Mhm.
contract says if we give you this money, you do this, you do that, and all those other things. And now it's coming out that she's not doing those things.
Because the
So
contract
now
was
she wants to
the
get the
contract
money
was-
back.
Right.
And then
Well,
she's gonna
part of the
speak and tell
contract
all-
was not to talk about it, and they talked about it. His lawyers talked about it.
That's what I mean.
So
So,
they
it's
broke the-
already
they
out
broke
there.
the original
contract's
agreement.
already
It's
broken.
already there.
Furthermore,
Right, but it's
so
it's
what?
there because they broke the original agreement.
Right, but so okay. Now, furthermore, though,
It doesn't
oh,
undo
what is
anything.
it? Does
It
yeah?
does.
It's not going to affect his presidency, though. Really,
It's not
And
impeachment.
No,
it's kind
no.
of like a Monica Lewinsky. I mean, there was really
He didn't do it while he was president.
he didn't do it
No.
while he was president.
No one said he did it. Didn't.
Yeah.
It just,
It's just a great
It's-
way to slander him.
it's just the hypocrisy is
just-
incredible. Yeah.
He
he
another
loses-
thing.
He loses credibility, is what it is. He loses credibility.
Affairs happen right under our noses
Under yeah,
every day in every
Affairs-
country in every
affairs
state.
can only happen
the
to
world.
married people.
So let's not forget
Affairs only happen
that
to married
as
people.
oh,
Joy
but that's
was
going to be
saying-
another conversation. Then we have you guys this one because, like you said, affairs happen, and this one's talking about only married people.
Affairs.
as Joy
Or
was saying.
committed, or committed people have affairs.
But
I lost my train of thought, but like as Joy was saying earlier, it's like rich people and famous people live by their own set of rules,
Yeah.
and they can throw money at any problem and make it go away, or think they can.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's when these scandals like this come out, and all those things. So
Right.
if you have the balls enough to do certain things,
mhm.
Mm-hmm.
then you better be prepared to live with the fallout and the outcome.
Yep.
Because chances are whoever you're doing this with is going to eventually
Like
turn
my,
the tables on you.
like
one
my
day
dad always
and
said.
expose it.
every time you tell a lie, it comes back to you.
It does.
Every time.
And this wasn't even a lie. This wasn't a denial of anything. This was a here, take this money and keep your mouth shut, which is fine, because if somebody threw 180,000 at me or whatever it was and told me, hey, can you not
It's
talk
only
about this?
130.
Or 130.
That's
But yeah, I won't
It's
do it for
not a
less than
lot.
125. But the thing is,
I'm
No, but
131.
Jim,
131.
somebody
Jim, you
told-
got at
Hey,
least a
131?
million. I want at least $1 million from Trump.
Well, remember, he's
no,
cheap.
You're
He's
not there to make
cheap.
negotiations. You're
He's
really
cheap.
not there to
Oh
barter.
yeah, I am. If he doesn't want everything out, yeah, I am.
Like, again, if somebody handed you 130,000, either cash or a check or something like that, and said, can you just not talk about this? And I'd be like, sure, man, we're good. And that's it. I'll always have it in my back pocket, but I won't need to use it because he gave me this money, and that's fine. And after all, it was sex. It was an affair. It wasn't a murder. It wasn't espionage. It wasn't extortion. It wasn't
Don't
insider
downplay a value
trading.
though. Don't
No,
play.
because
You
it
know, I think
wasn't.
we downplay marriage these days. I mean, it's just marriage is a value.
I'm
that
sorry, but the
now
divorce
it
rate
doesn't
in
mean-
this country has been over 50% for the last 30 plus years. So that marriage is a rampant problem in this country as it is. People do what
But
they
people
do.
use that as an excuse.
People
Well, it's a
do what they
statistic,
do
so it's
because
okay.
people do what they do because they don't think, and that's the problem.
Absolutely.
They
We're
don't
all-
think about the
we're all guil- No, we're all
consequences.
They're
guilty
eating too
of
many tides.
going with
iPods.
We're all guilty of thinking with a different part of our body besides our heart and our brain. We've all been there. We've all done that.
Mhm.
We were all teenagers. We were all whatever. It don't happen. It never stops unless you gain control over it. And when these guys live that high-profile lifestyle that you were talking about,
Mhm.
all that crazy stuff that goes on, chances are they let their inhibitions go and try these things. I probably would too if I was on the level that they're at, flying the jets and going on the yachts and doing all
Mhm.
the things. Of course, the monster's going to come out.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm going to let it out. That's the sign. That's the sign of making it. But you have to be responsible with it. And oftentimes they're not. Look at Anthony Weiner. Look at Bill Clinton.
Mhm.
Pardon the pun on the Weiner. But like, it's mind. It's self control. You have to be. It has to
is.
start somewhere.
Yeah, no,
It really does.
absolutely.
And I don't feel bad for these people who get caught. He's
Right.
still our president, and he's going to march on with what he has to do, like sit down with that rocket man.
But
in
you
North
believe
Korea.
he did it, right? I mean, like you
If
believe
I
he
had
stepped
to
with
bet, I'm not going to sit here
Stormy
and say no,
Daniels.
he didn't. He's a good guy. He probably did.
Yeah.
Anybody with a twig and berries would have.
Would hit it and split it, right?
Well,
Right.
He stayed for a year. He's there for a year.
and she did it for a year too.
And that's true
So-
too. Okay, see
That's
that.
her
not
job.
getting it.
That's her job.
No,
No, her
she's a
job is
porn
to be
star.
a porn star.
Yeah,
not-
her job
not-
is
That's the
porn
same
star.
thing.
No, it's actually
She got paid for having sex. Same thing.
I agree, but
Just not
actually,
on
you know
camera.
what? Like, you know what? That's
That
the
we
same
know of.
thing. I actually, believe it or not, I actually have respect for the porn business. People who
Oh,
just
I-
watch porn view it a different way. They see it, but you know what? It's actually lots of hard work for the people who
sure it
produce
is.
it. The talent, like there's
She said hard
laws.
work.
There's,
No, I'm sure it is. I got no beef with it. Trust me.
I know. Okay, which just
Since I was a
before we move on
teenager.
before we move on to the next subject, real fast, because we're gonna get it. Because we all work in media. We all have
I
been.
don't work in porn.
But that's where I'm getting at, right? Because were you guys ever offered the editing porn job? Oh no, we all saw it on Craigslist.
Let me tell you. Hey, if you need to do a job, you need to do a job.
Dude, they were offering starting off like 60 grand.
So
for
why are we
the
still here?
Guinness, because all of us are like, oh my God, it's porn. But at the end of the day, like we sat there in the office. I'll never forget, we were in Doral and we were having this conversation because I found the ad for it and it was for an editor, a porn editor. And it was basic and they wanted to train you. And so we got in and it was starting off at 60 grand.
I could do it.
And we all sat here, you know, I should have applied.
Sure, I know. Put gloves on. I could
But
have done
it's
that.
not as dirty as I mean, honestly, there is a
No, I understand.
professional.
Yes,
But
yes.
then I think it's the mindset of how do you, you know, of controlling yourself and staying professional in that type of environment. But
Nope.
I'm sure it's made to be made professional. It's
He's
not
giggling every day. He's giggling every day.
porn. But imagine having to sit there though, editing like hours. You get just tons of B-roll. Like, you have to edit it too. But I'm saying that salary is better than any of the jobs we've
Well,
seen
it
out
is.
here. So what? So
hey, get the list out. Let's go back on the list.
Put a bunch of outtakes in the credits.
I
Put a blooper reel.
can see that. I can see that. Chris, yes, we need an extra man to come on. Come on here, help us. Come on here and help us.
No, but have you guys ever read stories from porn stars? Like honestly, on the set, like how hard of a job it is. It's not easy to keep it up all the time. It's not
That's why
easy
you
to get
take
your
pills.
vagina
They got
ramped.
They got
pills.
fluffers.
Yeah, I got problem.
But you know how many times they
Fluffers
have to
a specific
reshoot.
time.
And no word that even with
Reshoot.
as professional as I try to make it sound, just nothing is going to sound right. Any type
No.
of word that I use when it's porn related in media, like.
There's no way.
But I'm talking about professional porn.
As
Like-
opposed to unprofessional porn.
Yeah, because there's some stuff
Honey,
that's made in your
you're
grandma's
jigging-
garage. I'm
You- Hey, what's this, Grandma?
Whoa!
Grandma, I didn't know you could do that.
Oh boy.
Oh my gosh. Huh.
Yeah, there's even that
It's-
kind of porn too. Granny
it's-
porn.
It's oh Jesus.
All right, we just diverted
I
off the
know.
highway. Of
I wanted
progress
to get.
here.
We were talking about porn, but let's go into another crazy story. Just one last before we go to break, and then. Do you have sports for? I mean, I know we have a short show, so I didn't want to waste like the next full 30 minutes on
I got
sports.
sports and medals minute stuff, so don't you worry.
Oh, I
There's your-
wasn't. But anyhow, remains of a missing Disney worker have been located.
Uh-oh.
Authorities have uncovered human remains in the backyard of a Disney worker who has been missing since 2015. Officials went to check on Michael Shaver, who worked as a monorail mechanic at his Central Florida home on February 16th. His 35-year-old wife, Lori Shaver, said she hadn't heard from him since 2015 and allowed investigators to search her home. Lake County Sheriff's deputies noticed what seemed like new concrete near a fire pit in the backyard. They asked to bring a cadaver dog in, but she refused. They returned with the warrant and dug up an arm bone Friday. The Orlando Sentinel reports they found more remains over the weekend, along with some articles of clothing. Now, the missing person's sister, Stacy Shaver, said they didn't call authorities because they thought they can find him on their own.
Please stand clear of the manténganse alejados de las puertas.
You were going straight to hell for
His
that one.
finger was on the button the whole time.
You were going
I
straight
don't
to
know. I
hell.
don't know what
for-
he's talking about.
And it's the monorail guy too. And he's a monorail mechanic to make it.
He probably did the voice track for that.
What are you talking about? You people are just wrong.
Damn it, Drew.
I was
Why don't
just
you put
here.
the Grim Reaper up on the screen for that guy?
Okay, so police. I know there's no information anywhere as far as what led investigators on February 16th of 2018 to finally go and look for this missing Disney World worker.
It probably was a cold case that just came up on their ledger.
Well, his sister said they didn't even call authorities because they thought they can find him on their own.
So
So the wife didn't
got
call.
cameras everywhere.
Oh.
Mickey's watching everything.
it must have been working a call. Say, hey, this guy's missing.
For 2
I mean,
years.
don't
though.
people sign in, sign out, and like
Yeah.
return keys that they signed for
Exactly.
and return things?
But then it's like Casey Anthony. You're talking the same area. It was Universal Studios. And the same thing. She went lying, and the investigators actually went there trying to find her.
Then
To
chances
see
are
if she
it's.
worked there.
I just
I don't know because there's no money. There's no money involved. So
No, but so 2 years later,
monorail.
like I
people
said,
just using it to get from point A to point B. They're not waiting in line to try
yeah,
something.
it's got to be the money involved.
well,
kill him.
insurance. It has to be obviously insurance.
But you can't. But he has to be dead in order to get insurance. So
Well, they found his bones now. They
yeah,
found
but
his
but
they
body.
found the bone because they were looking for it. They didn't report him
That's
missing.
right. You're absolutely right. So would insurance pay? You'd have to.
Then the only other-
Who didn't report him missing? Disney?
No,
wife,
okay. In
the wife.
order to get life insurance, the person has to be dead. You have to
Yeah,
have
I
a
agree.
certificate of death. But if
Right.
he's missing, there's no certificate of
Right.
death because everybody automatically thinks insurance.
He took off, or insurance. He took off, but that he may have taken off with some other girl and just lived some life.
So they
somewhere
wouldn't
else.
just go ahead and pay the insurance. You
Right.
have to.
He'd have to be missing, but it has to be noted for like 7 years.
So they were probably well. Then in that case, maybe they were just letting the
Hanging
body
out
sit
for
out
s-
there, hanging out, and
And,
soon we're gonna
First of
get
all,
that
you don't.
payoff.
Only one person has been confirmed of being instantaneously combusted, and you don't catch on fire inside of a drum in the backyard. So more than likely, someone put him in there.
Oh, absolutely. But just the fact, like his family wasn't worried, and like I said, what led investigators
So
to
maybe they didn't like him. They just they bumped
3
him off. They
years
didn't like him.
later, almost
They didn't like him. They bumped him off.
put him in the backyard, and then they put new concrete. You never put new concrete back there. That's what the cops look for. They look for new concrete when they.
Yeah, fresh concrete or fresh like dug
Oh,
hole.
you're
or something.
supposed to.
Doesn't anybody watch Investigative
Apparently these
Discovery?
people Apparently, these people didn't.
Yeah, this
Apparently
wife
they
and
did not.
his sister-in-law didn't.
Mm-mm.
Well, with
Okay.
that being said, we're going to go ahead. We'll take a break. When we come back, we've got some sports with Chris Metal, and we've got Metal's Minute. So make sure you stay tuned with us here on Now Trending Live on NowTrendingRadio.com. Welcome back to Now Trending Live right here on nowtrendingradio.com. So before we get started, I've got a fun little story to share. Also, I just want to announce that it is Platinum Pro Wrestling's St. Patrick's Day Slamboree this Saturday, March 17th. It will be at the American Legion, Post 321, which is located at 9081 Southwest 51st Street in Cooper City. So we've got big names like Camilla Kane coming out, CJ O'Doyle, and many more. So again, join us at the St. Patrick's Day Slamboree, Platinum Pro Wrestling, again this Saturday, March 17th at the American Legion in Cooper City.
Right.
We're going to get into some wrestling in just a minute, but before we do, this past Saturday was World Mario Day, man.
Tell us about it, Joy.
I'm
World Mario
going
Day.
to, because we were on our break. Did you get to see, have you seen Mario on Google Maps?
No, what does he look like?
Oh my God,
He's
dude.
so cute. Google Maps Meet Mario Kart on March 10th, which was this past Saturday. March 10th has actually been dubbed World Mario Day. So Google decided to give users the chance to be guided by Super Mario himself. The new feature, dubbed Mario Time, began on Saturday and has since been available when using Google Maps. The new navigation feature is activated when travelers enter a destination, request directions, and tap on the question mark next to the start navigation. After tapping on the question mark, users will hear Mario say, "Let's go." For fans in Mario
Come on,
Kart,
you can't do it any better than that.
let's go.
Terrible. Go on.
How did he do it? You get me better. You heard it.
Let's
you-
go.
You're
He
telling
said,
the
"Let's
story.
go."
You're telling
Let's
the story.
go.
I say through it. Let's go.
Let's go.
For fans of Mario Kart, you'll be happy to see the famous Nintendo superstar hop into his cart and drive along with you.
Really?
Google says Mario Time only lasts. There's a ghost.
That's
Do we
the
have a
wrong
ghost?
music.
I will come for 5 minutes.
Right? Google says Mario Time only lasts until March 17th and works for both iOS and Android
Boo.
apps.
What's wrong with?
Look at it though. Look, it's Mario. And so you know the little pinpointer when you're using like your Google Maps, like as a GPS?
I don't use Google Maps.
Oh, that's
Oh,
right.
because you know where everything is.
No,
No,
because he uses
I use Wave,
Of course you do.
or I use the direction on my phone.
Drew has always offended me with Siri because what happened was even when we were
I
in
think she's
school.
jealous of Siri.
No,
We all
because I
are.
know more than Siri. And then the thing
I
is,
don't know.
he doesn't trust me. And Drew would ask me all kinds of questions in school, and I'd answer him, and I'd give him the right answers. And you know what he would do? Hey Siri, like check my answer. And even though I had the answer first, and then he's like, "Oh, Siri had it." You see?
Well,
Yeah, exactly. And so I started calling Siri bad names, and ever since then, I just don't like Siri. I think she's a horror
She
bag.
got easily offended.
okay. So it.
That horror
So
Siri.
she does
my
movies.
I hope Alexa kicks her and
That's no kind of movie.
Chris Metal,
Yes.
what are we talking about today?
Sports.
We are
Sports.
sports entertainment.
Well, yeah, we're gonna get into the wrestling in a second. I just want to touch on a local story about our Florida Panthers here in South Florida. They are just on an absolute tear right now, with just enough games to go to actually make some noise come playoff time. Super excited about what's going on with them. They've played extremely well, and I'm happy about the coverage on CBS. Because
Thank you,
when they're
thank you.
playing well, there's more coverage of them.
Mhm.
More people go to the games, and the vibe around the team is better. When they're winning, and they're beating teams that they should be beating. That they're winning games that they should be winning is what I'm saying. It's like,
Yeah, they've
You know-
been on a pretty good tear last
I mean,
2 weeks, 3 weeks.
the other night they had Montreal in the house, and the place was swamped
Mhm.
with red sweaters from Montreal.
Oh, and the next,
And-
the Rangers were there like too.
Right, but Montreal game, which Montreal
Mhm.
usually rolls them.
Yeah,
Panthers 5, Montreal 0.
yeah.
You know what I mean? They sent, the majority of the people were Canadian fans in attendance, and they went home disgusted,
So
disappointed.
upset. Yeah,
Ottawa's there tonight. They're going to beat Ottawa tonight. They beat the Rangers in the shootout the other night, but they beat them. So they're on this tremendous win streak.
Mhm.
They've beaten every team that's in front of them. They beat the Penguins. They beat the Devils. They beat who's the other team in the East? They beat Tampa.
I think the only loss they had was
So the only loss was to Tampa. That was it.
yeah on a road game.
They beat Vegas, like the best team in the league at the time. I put them up against any team in the league right now.
And we also have the highest number of fights in the NHL.
Well, that's another great record to hold. But,
It's more of a
if
defending
that
kind
if
of
that
thing.
gets you, in
I'm just saying, I was watching hockey the other day, and they said that the Florida Panthers, and it was like 50% more.
Well, you know what it is now to be a Panther fan is a lot. It's a lot nicer now to watch a game and not worry about the other team scoring versus you. You know what I mean? Because there's always the rush to the goalie net.
Right.
What always seems to be happening, they're rushing towards the Panther net, never rushing towards the other net. Now,
Right, and now it's the other way
it's
around.
the other way around.
Right.
So I haven't watched the game yet because I don't want to break the jinx.
Stop it, drooping.
So we're throwing up hands. So it gives us.
So
they're 8-1-1 in their last 10 games, and they've won their last 2. So they're on a winning streak.
Mhm.
They're playing a team that isn't very good tonight. They're 10 games under 500, the Ottawa Senators. They're playing them at home.
Mhm.
Panthers normally this season have been playing better on the road, but since this hot streak, they can win anyway. They can play in the parking lot. They're going to win.
and that's
You know?
the thing. Now you don't have to. Oh, they need to come home to win. They can win out there on the street. And
Right.
that's the cool part about it. I think they're for number 4th place.
Their home record's 21-9-3. Their road record is 13-16-4. So yeah, they're playing better at home. But the first half of the season, they were winning all the games on the road and they were losing here.
Well, because you know why? I think it also has to do with, our fans in South Florida, and we've just discussed this with football, we've discussed this with baseball. We don't give support unless we're doing good.
That's
Have you
sad.
ever noticed that?
I've lived
though?
there 10 years.
Right.
I
But
can
you
agree.
notice that, right?
I can agree,
So
yeah.
I mean, imagine you're home. First of all, you have no support. We just run around here. The only time we start giving support when we have winning streaks. I've
Right.
never seen so many of my friends been so interested in hockey,
Yeah.
the past few weeks and posting everything. And like I said, we've discussed it with football. We've discussed it with the Marlins. We're just not, when you go to other states, especially like in the North or, even out West, the way fans are is they take it seriously and they're ride or die. It's not like this, this bandwagon crap. So here, but we're very like that with all of our sports teams. When we're losing, forget it.
You know why that
We
is,
don't
I
go to
think?
the games. We're like, oh, we
I've
suck.
gone
I got
when
a theory.
But
I got a
we're
theory.
winning. Oh, we're,
I got a theory on that. I
Mhm.
think you're partially right. In other parts of the country, sports is the key to the community.
It is. It's
It's-
everything.
yeah.
Like the whole family. Like when I go to
Right.
New York or New Jersey, especially when football season starts, we're not just talking dad with the jersey. When you go out, mom, dad, grandpa, junior, the baby, like
Oh, the dog.
everybody,
The
the
dog.
dog, like the
Yeah.
cars got flat. It's just a whole family experience. But here we're very with any of our teams.
Well, I can as a witness to this. I've been to about 4 or 5 Patriots games in the 10 years I've lived here when they come down to play the Dolphins.
Mhm.
The fan base is 50-50,
Right.
and it shouldn't be.
Right.
And
We
you're
don't
going to have your
support. And
share.
I think it's a sport. You need support.
You're
though.
going to have your share of road fans, but there are also a lot of transplants who live here.
Right.
Yeah.
But there's no reason you can't get local support.
No.
Now, from the owner's standpoint, they don't care because the stadium's sold out.
Right.
They don't
Absolutely.
care what kind of ass is in the seat as long as there's one in the seat. The same thing with the Panthers. The owner could care less that half of the fans, or more than half, are from Montreal.
Right. Absolutely.
They're spending each one spend on the average
They're
$100.
pennant. Right.
As a
But
matter of fact, if you're not from town, you're more likely to spend more money in the
absolutely.
concessions
Exactly.
and
But there has been
and-
studies
and
shown
merchandise.
that as a sports participant, that sports teams do need fan support. That's one thing that does drive them.
Because they base what they're going to bring in based on somebody coming in saying they're going to spend on the average 125 per person, 20,000 people times 125.
Oh,
Then you have
absolutely.
kids, another 75 or
But
80
taking out
apiece.
even the financial, taking even
Right.
out the financial part of it, the players themselves, they want that support. They want to be cheered for.
Oh,
It
absolutely.
goes along with their profession. A lot of people don't get that.
it's part of
Do you know
the
how bad it is for the Panthers to come out and skate on the ice and they look at the crowd and there's the majority of Montreal fans
Right.
and they're at home?
Right.
Well, you know-
you're at
you know,
home.
this is not the
right.
Bell
So
Center.
that's why
You know
they
what they've
left
been
and
doing
started
lately?
winning first. They left and
Right.
started winning first, and then they come back home, and now we've got a packed stadium
Well,
full of South Floridians
they're
who
also
love the
doing-
Panthers now.
what they're also doing along with Channel
Right.
4 is that they're honoring the vets. So that's part of the whole thing where they have one vet that they highlight him, they tell his story.
I think it's a great
And they
story.
come
that
out
they do
there,
that. At the
and we do
games.
the same
it's
thing on the news.
amazing
So-
what they do.
I think that also blends together with everything
Oh, yeah.
else. And now you have a fan base now. Now you're building up.
Oh, absolutely.
But
This
the
weekend-
trick is for them and for the Marlins and for the Dolphins and for MLS when they get here is to maintain it. You don't have to win championships. You just have to put a product on the field that gives a shot.
Here's
Yeah.
why the Dolphins won't do that veteran highlight reel, because they got half of their players are kneeling.
yeah,
national anthem.
that's
So they're not going to send both messages.
right.
They won't do it.
No,
And you won't see
no.
it. You won't see it in baseball. All the Marlins will stand, all the Panthers will stand, and all the Heat will stand.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking
But
about.
so
I'm
they
not talking
won't.
about the
Dolphins
kneeling.
won't do
Well, it's
a
not like
fan.
the
I'm just saying
Marlins.
that's just
not,
what they're
But
doing.
the Dolphins won't do a fan experience like that, like the Panthers are doing.
I'm just saying they're just doing something. That's the one thing they're doing that's building up with the home crowd.
They're doing
Right.
a lot more too.
Oh, I'm saying that when the hurricane came, they were the first ones to jump out to do stuff. So I give the
Yeah,
Panthers
no,
credit.
and they are. They're picking up more even next weekend. Brother Love is going to be out there as well. They're even just to do a fan participation
Awesome.
before next week's game.
Mhm.
There's also another indie wrestling company that'll be out there doing a show. But
So,
Brother Love is actually going to be part of that.
I say, you get us tickets soon. We go.
I'm looking at the schedule. They're looking at
the way.
Let me
standings.
find tickets somewhere.
okay.
They stand in fourth place in the Atlantic Division at 34, 25, and 7, total of 75 points, and they played 66 games. So there's 16 games to go. They're in line for a playoff spot as it stands. If the
Mhm.
season ends today, they would be in the top 8 of the Eastern Conference, which qualifies for a playoff spot.
So the
It'd
next,
be a wild card because they're not in the division lead.
so the next team up for them is Toronto, right? And that's 6 points ahead. So can you make up the 6 points difference between now and then?
All you can do is win games.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying go into overtime and just get 1 point. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm like, it's usually me. I'm panicking
No, it's
over
usually
here.
me.
No, I always mean to shut the speaker off on my laptop. But when I went to this one screen, they showed an ad, and I figured
Or
the
it
ad was
does,
gonna
yeah.
kinda kill it. But all they can do is win. They can't depend on other teams losing to
Mhm.
get out of the way. You don't back into the playoffs in hockey. You have to win games. You
Mhm.
have to go in hot because you
Of
don't
course.
get the bye week that NFL players get. You don't get the time off that this one or that one gets. You might get a day or two to travel and rest up. You know what I mean? So all they can do is keep winning. And by winning, it means puck control, cut the penalties down, get the rebounds, score on deflections. Just don't give up on plays when they happen. It doesn't matter the team that they're playing because the way they're playing, they're just mowing down everybody in front of them. I mean, they have to grind it out. Sometimes they win in shootouts, but they're
Mhm.
winning. They're 8-1-1 in their last 10 games. They haven't had a streak like that in I don't know how long.
Because we're beating everybody up.
But the thing is that they're beating
That works.
they're beating good teams.
No, I agree. No,
They're
I like
beating
it's
teams that are ahead of them in the standings.
right. I agree.
And this
And
is
some games-
exactly when you have to be doing it.
Right.
That's the thing. They're winning some games by a lot, and if they're starting to win those
Where
little
it's tight,
mini
right?
games,
Mhm.
those little 1 point games, they're starting to win those things. They're getting
Exactly.
shootouts. It's nice. It's
So
nice to see it.
congratulations to them. I'm going to continue watching from home because if I go, they're going to lose like you, Droopy. You won't watch because then they'll lose.
I'll wait till they get to the playoffs or something. I'm
They're
allowed to watch.
fun. They're fun to watch. They're young. They got a veteran goalie.
It is. It's
And
fun to go to a game.
This is
It's-
great because the
us
sports,
tickets, dog. What's
sports
up, man?
package in South Florida
know.
is dwindling right now. Thankfully, the Heat are playing well, and now the Panthers come around. And I don't know what we can expect from the Dolphins in the fall or the Marlins
Rebuilding.
all summer.
Rebuilding. When you're
So-
cutting people, you're rebuilding.
Well, exactly. So I'm just trying to put say it in a positive way.
Mhm.
We don't know what to expect from them or the Marlins come this summer and in the fall.
Ironically, the Marlins
So-
are decent during this spring training,
Okay,
They were
and
pretty decent.
spring training counts for absolutely nothing.
but it's not horrible. is what I'm
No,
saying.
but it won't reflect and translate into the regular season.
I understand, but
A lot
they're
of
not. At
these
least they're
players
not
are gonna
losing
get
here.
cut. They're going to go back down to farm leagues and all these other things.
Yeah.
It's not going to translate into anything promising for a couple of years because, like you said, they're rebuilding. Like the Dolphins, they're rebuilding. They're constantly rebuilding. The Dolphins are held up to a higher standard because of their perfect season in '72. They're held to a higher standard because there's less games to get it done.
I think there's only one
And they
player left
put a
alive in
great
that
team on paper. They come running out of the gate on opening day, and then they finish like 7-9. And all they can claim is, "Oh well, we beat the Patriots." It's like, okay, and did you play in the playoffs? No. Did you go to the Super Bowl? No. You know what I mean? It's like they constantly rebuilding. How can anybody be a fan of this team and not like want to jump off their rooftop every season? You know, it's
Yeah.
all these local sports. They're not winning any crowns. I mean, the Heat did, but then they disbanded everybody. The whole team left.
Can't afford it after a while.
How is anybody a fan of South Florida? I don't
That's why
get
they're
it.
not. That's
Right, and that's why they're not. We're not until we start winning.
That's why they're
March
not.
Madness starts tomorrow. 64 college teams.
There you go.
Go Providence College. Go URI. They both made it this year. I'm
Yep.
pulling for them. I am not doing a bracket. I'm not going to drive myself crazy.
I gotta do a bracket. I gotta drive myself crazy.
Are you doing one with the folks at CBS?
They have one up. I think I will.
Should
But
we
then again, I
should we
also-
do one here on Now Trending?
We could do one here. We
I
could
mean, there's
do
only
one
3 of us. Why
NCAA.
don't we just each throw $20 into the pot and then go eat somewhere in the Final Four match?
That works for me.
Because I don't want to take your money.
This guy.
I'll set it up. I'll set it up. I'll give you guys a password.
I am rooting for Providence. They just beat the number 1 Xavier the other night, and they were trailing 14 points in the
Mhm.
half. URI is playing really, really well. Again, I don't expect them to go very far into the tournament because there's so many good teams.
But that's the
But
beauty of
there's
it.
Cinderella teams and there are sleepers out there.
And that's the beauty
Every
of this.
year, I want
Every
Providence
year,
to be there.
somebody beats somebody. They weren't even supposed to be on the
And they're not
field
even
with.
supposed to. It's usually the
Exactly.
sleepers
And it's like,
always.
oh my- and everyone's brackets busted by the first week. And that's the beauty of the game
I
because
won't do it.
it's not predictable.
No.
But it's the same as fantasy football. I mean, it's
No, I'm not talking about basketball.
it's not, but it's a lot of your sleepers, a lot of your unexpected players who end up
Yeah.
coming to be.
Yeah.
We go in thinking, oh, the best players, the best players, the best players. When we go through the draft, and
My best player wasn't even, I didn't draft my best player. My best player didn't even start until like no, he started, but no one picked him up. So when I saw him, I go, oh my God, it's sitting there wide open. I grabbed him. I played two games with him, and he broke his leg in the.
Does,
yeah,
Does
I'm like, oh,
President
God.
Trump make a bracket in the White House?
No, he doesn't even know about basketball.
No, he knows about it, but is he going to waste his time on it like Obama and W did and everybody else?
It's not a waste of time. It's an afternoon of maybe an hour.
He's running the country.
He's not doing anything but
He's
but
running the
set up the next star.
But I don't think he makes one. I really
He
don't.
does.
I think he's going
He
to find
did.
better things to do. So,
Other things to do?
kind of running a country.
He's into the ground, maybe.
so who do you like?
Um,
Just one team, 2 seconds to answer.
I like the Kansas City. I like
Oh, I asked for one team, Drew.
I know, but
Who do you think's going to win? Who's going to be in the middle?
who's gonna be in the middle? I think it's gonna be Kansas City.
I'm taking Duke. I don't know why.
I don't know.
I don't because I
You're gonna
don't
take
know.
a Duke.
Why not? Okay, I'll take Providence. Okay, there you go. Providence, my pick.
Hey, sometimes the smaller
They
one
made it
gets
to the
further.
Final Four in '92. So,
Never
And
know.
I'll take Medals Minute. What's going on in Medals Minute?
oh boy, do we got a great story medals minute here.
That great, huh?
Well, I'm clicking to it, Drew. Why don't you just sit back and relax?
Are you in
Yeah.
tears about Toys R Us going out of business?
If I was a kid
Oh
and
my God.
Smell.
I definitely-
forever.
You should be really upset because Toys R Us is old school.
I've been there many times, and I would have loved if I ever had kids.
Is it
to have
official?
brought them there.
Is it,
Yeah,
is it,
it's official. I
it's-
read it the
it's
other day.
done. I know they were looking at doing it.
Yeah.
They just know when.
No, they don't know when yet, but it's really if they don't. But it's the
Yeah.
last major toy store company. However, it's really going to take Mattel and Hasbro. Those companies are really going to take a hit.
No, they won't. They'll get picked up by Walmart.
Toys R Us is 10% of their market.
But
Then-
people are
then
doing
you find it somewhere else.
people are doing the online shopping now, which is killing retailers. So it starts with that first off. Then we had recessions, and where parents weren't spending what they normally spend on kids. They were, supporting the household.
Plus, toys are
doing
different
else.
now. Toys are electronic.
Toys
It's
are
not
different now.
a Rubik's Cube.
Nobody plays with
right physically.
what was the glowworms anymore.
Yeah.
There's no Teddy Ruxpin. There's nothing that is associated with books or anything. Now it's all interactive. Now you can get hacked.
Action figures.
bedroom.
Action figures. Kids,
Action
remember
figures
we
are
were
not
action
made
figures.
the same way they
like-
were. The Transformers are not the same the way they were. They used to be made out of metal. And now they're made out
China.
of cheap plastic they used to be made at Hasbro, which is in Rhode Island. They used to be manufactured there, all these toys and all these things. Now they're being made overseas because the factories have, gone, under and
Mhm.
all these different things. But there's just no quality toys out there. There's no quality cartoons for shows. And that's part of my Medals Minute. Since we're talking about that, is I make constant references to the youth and the generations here and the millennials to a certain degree. But now the millennials are in their 20s.
Mhm.
So it's the next generation, the Y generation. Why me? Why do I have to pay for this? Why do I have to pay for that? It's like they're getting a raw deal by what's being fed to them and the way it's being administered. They get all this stuff through social media and through the internet. They read whatever news stories they want to read, whether they're true or not, whether they're fake or not. All these different outlets and all these things, they have to get likes and shares to feel special. Everybody's cyberbullied and all these things. And when we were kids, and I say we because we're all the same age. Joy, you and I are the same age. Joy, I think you're a couple years older than us. But we're all around the same age. We grew up in
He'd beg to differ.
What? What is
the same kind of things. We learned how to fix things. We learned how to work on cars. We learned how to change oil. We learned how to,
Cook.
sew a button onto a
So,
shirt.
home economics.
We
But
knew-
if they took
we-
home econ, go ahead.
We used, I know what you mean.
Out of school, like
We used laundry detergent for its sole purpose of washing clothes, not eating it. We ate Ajax, we ate bleach, all those things like that, but we didn't know it was under the sink. We didn't know it was so appealing, and the shiny blue bottle and everything. But
Hence the typo.
Metal was sipping on ammonia.
we had cool games. We had cool games. We had Simon. We had Hungry Hippos.
Candyland. I
We had
mean, just basic
Candyland.
life.
Now it's gluten-free Candyland. I guarantee you. You
Well,
know,
I've given my
we
kids
all
Candyland
we
and
all listen.
sinuses.
We all
Yeah,
ate
good.
bread. We ate things without
Yeah.
having to worry about what was in it. If we had an allergic reaction to something, we went to the doctor and he gave us something and we were fine. We rode with the seatbelts without our seatbelts on. We had secondhand smoke in the car. We drank out of the garden hose on the side of the house. We played in the creek. We played in the mud. And these kids today don't experience that. We used to pick the salamanders out of the dirt near the water, near the lakes, and all those things. We used to play with dirty things and get dirty and go home. We ate mud. You know what I mean? We fought. We had Royal Rumbles in the front yard where we just beat the hell out of each other. You know, in fun. We didn't hate each other. We did all these things now, and these kids do not experience any of this because now they can just Google it, and they're missing out on things. They're becoming reliant and dependent on these said tablets and cell
Right.
phones and these other people of doing their research for them. We had to use Encyclopedia Britannica. I had to go to the library, take 5 of these gigantically thick books and spread them out all over this big table and gather research for these papers I had to do for school. And now the kids just look stuff up online and they just copy or rephrase it. And they don't have they're not harnessing the necessary skills about research, about finding things on your own. Everything's just being spoon-fed and handed to them, and they're given every excuse in the book. And it's really sad because I feel that we were in a golden age of growing up, just like we were in the golden age of music when we were growing up. Because now the kids are listening to this god-awful music that's out there today, this Katy Perry stuff and all this other garbage that's out there, Beyonce. There's no role models musically, when they're selling their bodies and doing these things because there's no music in it.
Yeah.
The kids,
our parents said.
the kids aren't. A lot of the kids aren't learning how to play musical instruments in school or read music because that's the first.
No, they
program.
are. They
That's
are.
the first program to get cut when there's budget cuts is music and science.
My
So
daughter's
you take science
choir,
equipment
just
out.
choir.
That's great, but then you just hope that program doesn't get cut one day because they have budget cuts, but they dump it into sports and other things. You know what I mean? So they cut arts and crafts too. It's like I feel bad for the kids because they're not experiencing these things that we did. And the generation before us said the same thing. They feel bad for us because of all the things we're going through. And it's all relative, and it's just a sign of evolution. I understand that, but
There's a way to be smart with it.
there's a way to be smart with the joy. Exactly.
You choose. Like I said, I've been taking that mass communications class, and just like with the internet, social media, it really depends on how you choose to use it.
True.
Some people are emotionally connected. I don't know if we see like the mayor who's on your show. He had made a post on Saturday, which was something similar to what you're saying, what you were saying in the beginning, where it was like, do the number of likes like affect your feelings? You know what I mean? The number of likes you get on a post really affect how you feel. For me, like I know people who legit get crushed by not having a certain number of likes. And to me, the way I see social media is I don't care unless them likes are making dollars. Like if I'm getting paid for each like, then that's the only time it makes a difference. But I'm a Capricorn. I don't, that's how we see everything business. But the number of likes I get on a post does not affect my feelings at all. It doesn't. Social media is not the real world. I see social media. People are not real. I don't put myself, not that I'm fake on social media. I don't express myself on social media as far as my personal details, so I don't think that gives a true 100% representation of me because I only put out what I want to,
right?
Certain things. So therefore it shouldn't affect me feeling wise because it's not the whole me.
So you don't put about your part-time job as the fluffer?
Yeah.
A bunch of likes.
Yeah. But I just, but it's a shame though, the way you do. I see people who are very emotionally attached to their social media and the amount of comments they get, the amount of likes they get on a post, and it affects them emotionally. And I'm like, how? Like, why? It doesn't mean anything. That doesn't, it's not making you money. It's not moving you forward in life. And, you know, did it really, are you into your ego that much? I mean, this is social media. I don't.
Well, you'd be surprised what people will do for their egos.
Now, when my friend Joe Ritchie first designed my website, and we threw it up there about a year and a half ago, we put a like meter on it. So every time people went, they would just click the like button. You know what I mean? And for a while, we had it going strong. It was up to 400 and change. And then one day, that like meter disappeared. And when it came back on, it was at 0. You know, and it's just, you know, advertisers and sponsors, people, if they start paying attention to you around 1,000 likes.
Right.
And we were almost halfway there. And at this point, we would have been almost there with all the attention that the website's been getting over the last year or so, because the show's moving along, it's rolling, it's in different places and all that stuff. And I'm not concerned about it, but it sucks that it's not there, because when you look at it, that's like, wow, that's a sign of progress.
And again, that's business. It's progress.
400 different people took the time to click it.
Right. And that means something, though. But that's something to me.
Something to the
it
person.
does. Right. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree in that case, because you're trying to accomplish something. You have a goal. But when you just make like a post, like if you're a random thought, like I ate bacon and eggs this morning for breakfast. I mean, who gives a crap? Like, you know,
bacon?
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, some people get like really emotionally hurt because someone doesn't like I ate bacon and eggs this morning. You know, to me, it's just like, it's not relevant. It doesn't, unless it's business.
I don't know. I'm into that bacon.
Do you get feeling hurt over your likes?
No.
Right. Maybe just because we're old. I don't know.
Well, but what I use it for, I don't use it for that.
Right. It's not like we're sitting. I mean, you're not that right.
Like for Meadow, it makes a difference because that's his property. That's his product.
Right.
So yeah, that's what I'm saying.
For product wise, business wise, but as far as like feeling wise, like I just know people who live in.
And there are days that I'm hustling.
Facebook.
I don't have time to go on it.
I don't. Right.
I don't
Exactly.
have time
Some
to.
people don't make the time for it because it's just irrelevant to what's going on in their lives, because it really doesn't matter. I mean, in the long run, I'm still going to be me. I'm still going to do the show, no matter how many people stop and click the like button. There might have been 1,000 people to check the website out and just didn't even see the like button,
right?
Or just went right by it.
Like I'll put the show on there, and I'll put things that me and my family do, or about the kids, or whatever. But I use it more as a, hey, how's everybody doing?
That's it. It's just like casual conversation.
I'll be honest.
But even you don't put super personal crap on there.
No, I'm totally exactly. I'm totally happy with the fact that I can go and see what my friends from 30 years ago are doing.
Agreed.
And they're still around.
It's nice to keep connections. It's nice to keep those long distant connections. It's much easier than we had, back in the day.
And then there were some people, like, for example, unfortunately got arrested. So one of my friends passed away. And the guy lived down the street from me, literally literally 5 houses from me. And at least I know what happened to him. I know he's
right, exactly.
Maybe if I go home and visit, I go by the house, hey, is he still here? And I have no clue.
Yeah.
So there are some positives.
It keeps you informed and updated. I totally agree. It keeps you informed, updated. But like I said, as far as your emotions, I ate bacon and eggs, and you want everyone to like it. Like,
yeah, like if I had a bad day,
it's a waste of time. It really is.
I agree. Like now that I've gone back to school, like I'm back in school now, and I just have so much on my plate. Like it's really
right now. And she's bringing you some because I ain't.
And it's funny because
I'm bringing it in.
I'm cooling in bacon.
She's got this massive plate. I was saying,
I'm talking about a post, but no. Even in my mass communications class, like we had to do a project where we had to actually track our social media usage for the entire day. So we had to track it for the entire day. And it just really made me realize like how much time I waste on social media when there's other things that I could be doing just to even check in and be nosy. And you know what? But is
it a waste if you take time to look at that?
But now I think so in a sense, because I'm just looking at it for like trash purposes, like to see everyone else's misery.
There's a lot of
people
fluff.
I don't like.
There's a lot of fluff out there. There really is.
There's one thing that I kind of like not worry or concern, but I have an app called Time Hop, and basically what it does, it tells you what happened a year ago.
Right.
Last time I showed you those pictures.
Yeah.
So if you do it continuously, it gives you a count how many days doing it. I'm almost to a year straight, so I got to make sure that I keep going on with it for a year. to get my year just to see what it does when you get to a year. But
Right.
otherwise, I'm all right. I'm all right with it. I could do more with it, I guess. But
If now that's it. Well, I want to use it more for marketing purposes, business purposes, but I'm just not at that point where I have the time to set up a schedule and post the stuff. I'm just not that organized yet as far as doing that, my plan. But when it comes otherwise, my time right now is just trolling on people's Facebook pages.
I like that, trolling on people's Facebook pages.
And keeping in contact with friends and family. But so, I mean, like I said, it can absorb a lot of your time if you don't monitor it.
It can be a full-time thing, yeah.
Yeah. So is that it for you guys? Did you good?
That's it.
Okay,
I'll bring more
I didn't know if
next
you wanted
week.
to add. Great. Well, that's it for today's show. We made it, guys. Siobhan, we miss you. We don't know when Siobhan's going to be back, but she will be back one day. So with that being said, make sure you join us
Make it sound
next
very,
week.
very scary there.
No, I
tease for
miss
next
her. I
week.
wish
Yeah.
she was here.
One day
Will she be here? Tune in next week.
Tune in
find her-
next week. We
Yeah,
will.
like we look for her in a garbage bin. or something.
Siobhan, will you be here next week with us?
Find her bones burnt up or something.
No, but we just wish her the well with she's just taking on a lot of busy tasks right now. So we will be back next week. So again, this is now
Next
trending
week.
live
Next week.
on.
We're not back next week.
Oh, we won't be back next week. Why do you guys have to
We'll
remind
pick the
me?
show up in 2 weeks from now.
We
We're
will
back
pick
in
this-
2.
We will be back in 2 weeks.
2 and
from
2.
now. So that'll be on March
Because what happened to go to the doctor? He gives you 2
26th.
shots.
I agree. So have a great week,
March
everybody.
26th?
Yeah.
It's my anniversary.
Guess who's not going to be here? Might be us. Might be just us, Joy.
Why don't we
It
just
might be
we'll have
fair.
planning and everything
play it by
on
ear.
live
We'll
in
play
here.
it by ear.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't want to. Absolutely, that's your anniversary. Sure, that's more important than us. I just joke. Have a great week, everybody. Thanks for listening to Now Trending
Bye,
Live
everybody.
on
Everybody.
nowtrendingradio.com.
Peace.